Hey everybody, Bandicoot Commando here, and welcome back to Resistance 2. Last time... Oh, I can choose where I want to go. Okay, that's nice. So, last time, we beat the game pretty much. We beat the game, but Hale was able to kill Daedalus and absorbed his power even to help escape from the ship, but in the end, though, he succumbed to the virus, and Capelli had to put a bullet in his head, and it just ends there unexpectedly. So, today I'm just going to go over some of the additional bonuses and all that stuff, and I can't really talk about development because there's really not much to speak in regards of development in the first place. But before we start, let's see. So here's the thing. Hold on, I'm looking. Here it is. To find the concept arts, you have to apparently go to Profile. It even says so in the game itself. Here it is, rewards. Mission updates. Concept art. Let's just go over the concept art and some of the in-game bonus rewards. So, some hybrids, Ravagers, more hybrids. That is a species that we never saw. It's either an early version of Daedalus, or it might have been an alternative version of Widowmakers. That is the Kraken. That, again, some of these were just never seen. These might be the Chameleons. That is Daedalus, two different versions of him. The Swarm. Grims. They're either Grims or even the Cloven. Leeches. I wish these borders would not show up every time I have to go to a new one. Drones. Furies. Concept of your standard soldiers, probably for the multiplayer campaign. They may also be concept of the various members, like Capelli, especially like with this one, definitely being Capelli, and Hawthorne and Warner and Blake, once we encounter them. Hale, when he's under the influence of the virus. This was during the Iceland, while we were under attack by a stalker, and the Iceland attack on Station Igloo from the Goliath. Where are we at? Wait, how many pieces are there? It goes up to... Oh, that's vehicle and weapon. This is level concept. Character... Okay, so we were on level. There was that one and that one. 6. Okay, we didn't see 6. So this is the furthest I got until I was like, wait a minute. The tank. This is in San Francisco. Now I know we're not exactly in San Francisco anymore. Ugh. Just the interior of Chimera's ships and towers. Oh, Chicago. Oh, I'm tired. This was in Louisiana. Now this is New Mexico. Oh, I'm sorry if I can't stop yawning. I'm just so tired. The Bell Rock grenade launcher. The Rafe. The Splicer. The pulse cannon, I believe? I believe that is the auger. Just a standard car. Don't really encounter that. Okay, that is a Hale fire turret, if not a standard AA gun. That's a Hellfire turret. A drone? Oh no, dropship. Just ships, really. A battleship. More of the battleship. Yawn! 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 Maybe I'll go to bed once I'm done recording here. And we're back here. Wow. All the intel here. Oh! Now we got additional stuff. Some of this additional stuff for weapons, I believe, has to deal with more with the co-op mode. So like the XR-42 Phoenix. Recovered from a conversion center in Shanghai, China. The Phoenix is widely considered to be the most significant find in the Spectre arsenal. Its ability to regenerate human tissue on a cellular level has made it a mandatory apparatus across all SERPA field teams, although technicians admit they know very little about how it works. Press R1 to deplete the energy field to any non-human. To convert the stored energy into healing energy, press R2. Pretty sure that's strictly for, that has to be strictly for, possibly for cooperative. It has to be. And the XR-87 proximity mine. This mil-spec incendiary device contains a tremor-sensitive mercury switch that picks up seismic activity within a fixed area. Even the lightest footstep is enough to set off the device, making it SERPA's most dangerous proximity explosive to date. Alrighty. Let's head on. Oh, so whenever you start a new game, if you beat on normal difficulty or higher, you can unlock arcade mode. What arcade mode does, from what I've read, Let's see if I can find it. Trying to find it on here. Well, basically what arcade mode is that it's on a very hard difficulty, and more importantly, you have a limited amount of lives. Once it's over, it's over. You'd have to start from the very beginning again. But there's an easy way, though, to beat the very hard difficulty and get the extra achievements you need. Just going to put it on casual to make things a little easier. Now, some of these things you can only view while you're actually in-game. Oop.
Stay close and watch your back. Now that the wall's down, they can flood in any second.
Okay, some of these bonus things here. Motion blur. It controls the amount of motion blur. Whoa. I don't like that. I do not like that. I'd rather keep motion blur off. Depth of field is how blurry the game camera will be. So, as you can see, everything is blurry, except if I get very close to it. But once I get a certain distance away, yeah, everything becomes blurry until I get closer. Kind of like how real eyesight can be. You need 18 trophies to unlock this, but I believe what this will get you is that it gets you, from what I'm reading here, a screen tint option, and it allows you to change the color of your screen to a black and white or a sepia or, you know, just a different color view thing. If you get 3 silver trophies, you can unlock mirror levels. If you get 5 silver trophies, you get the super hybrid weapons. I believe what these super hybrid weapons are, let's find out as I look it up real quick. I'm under the assumption that they are basically chimera weapons that are much stronger, or they might be something else. What exactly are super hybrid weapons? It just gives... Okay, so what it does is that it gives standard chimera hybrids only use, you know, bullseyes. However, the super hybrid weapons option is that it will give all hybrids other weapons like the auger, the shotgun, carbine, and even all their regular bullseyes are just replaced with the Mark II, which that is very difficult. But what makes it so good, though, is that because these weapons are very good in the first place, is that once you kill the Chimera, you can pick them up for yourself instead of having to find them. As for this one, this, I believe, unlocks superhuman difficulty. And it basically, once you beat superhuman difficulty, you get an achievement. That's all, and some multiplayer rewards. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can show and talk about. There's really nothing else that I can say in terms of what I already know and whatnot. But I will say this in terms with the intel and a few other little things. As you might have noticed with the Inslate video, you noticed how Hale got a little worse as time went on, and that is, as you play through the game, Hale here on the menu will start to reflect on that. Now, whenever you start a new game, though, he goes back to looking normal. But once you get through Bryce Canyon, that's when his eyes become amber color. Once you get through Chicago, he starts to lose his hair, and his eyes are slowly beginning to glow. And then once you get through Iceland and for the rest of the game, he's very pale, he's hairless, his eyes are now officially glowing, and he just looks really worse. And let's see, what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh yeah, let me go to profile. Oh. This is the one. I'm going to read this to Sepra Intelligence, Major Blake. Major Blake, I believe I know the reason for the Chimeran fleet's recent change in course toward the Yucatecan Peninsula. It is my theory that the towers, the fleet, and the Chicxulub crater are all related to Daedalus's plan. As you know, I have theorized that there was another race at war with the Chimera millions of years ago. It is my belief that this crater is the last visible remnant of an event that ended that ancient war. Whatever was destroyed in that crater was the crux of the Chimeran power on this planet, the focal point of a planet-wide network of towers. The Chimeran fleet has converged on that crater for a reason, and I believe they are nearing the completion of a goal more devastating than we have imagined possible. But with their ships gathered so close together, they are also more vulnerable than they realize. Before Sepra 4 was destroyed, they had completed a prototype fission bomb using materials recovered by the Spectre team. If you could retrieve that bomb and detonate it within 500 feet of the core reactor on Daedalus' ship, the chain reaction may be enough to eliminate the entire fleet. I know we have had our differences in the past, Major, but I implore you to trust me on this. I believe it is our one and only chance at victory. Oh, hold on. This ain't the right intel. Oh. This is the one I was looking for. The Journal of Melikov. I could just hear the croak of spring frogs above the dull hum of the Chimeran fleet passing overhead. The Chimera are mere hours away from completing the mission they began nearly half a century ago. Their towers now wrap around the planet in a web. Their energy courses across continents, across oceans, across dead towns and pillaged wastelands of cities. The energy flows toward one point, one inevitable goal, one final Chimeran victory that will settle a score now millions of years old. It is my deepest regret that I have failed in each and all of my endeavors to bring some measure of salvation for mankind. All my efforts have finally proven to be worse than futile. I have violated the one sacred code all doctors swear to obey. Do no harm. I have given the world the Cloven. I have given the world Daedalus. I have given the Chimera the very tools they needed for victory. It is almost dawn as I write this. In a few hours I will wake him, and with him will lie my fate as well. Whenever I will be the monster who brought about the fall of man, or the saint who gave humanity the seed of deliverance, all that now lies with Nathan Hale. In my tent, there is a small hand-painted wooden box my mother gave me when I was a child. In that box are 4 vials of morphine. It will be enough. I will not wait to be judge. May you all one day forgive me. Essentially, with that piece of intel there, Melikov did himself in. Not a very good way to go using morphine. Which lastly brings me to what I want to say with Nathan Hale here before I finish. A lot of you have been wondering about Hale's behavior, possibly, like, everything he went through, he had no reason to keep going. He really had no reason to keep going, to be honest. But part of it has to do with his psychological profile, according to, SEPRA and, the military and such. Part of Hale's behavior is that has to do partially with an incident on how, mostly of how, when he was leading a it was an incident that when he was training, when he was joining the army, he ended up being was promoted to the rank of sergeant. On October 13 of 48, he worked in South Dakota mine shaft, survived a... Okay. When he was the 1st Ranger Regiment in Fort Benning, Georgia. Despite being a capable soldier, it was during a live fire exercise that Hale led an unconventional gambit against a mock target that led to the deaths of most of his squad and several observers, and leaving himself grievously injured. The incident was attributed to faulty munitions. Hale was rehabilitated at the Army's Higgins Trauma Center in Montana. After exhaustive therapy and many operations, Hale returned to active duty. His commanding officers consistently rewarded Hale with higher risk missions due to his natural skill in battle. After action reports consistently described Hale as fearless in combat, an inventive tactician and enabled squad leader, but psychologists expressed concern over what they perceived as his growing death wish. Essentially, the reason Hale kept going in both, not this game, but in the previous game, was that due to the guilt of... It wasn't his fault, though, but due to the guilt of what happened, he wants to die because of everything that has happened throughout more of his life. You can read more about Hale on the Resistance Wiki, but the big one I want to bring up about Hale, more importantly, is his name, because his name is what is important. Nathan Hale was named after the real-life Nathan Hale. The real-life Nathan Hale, born back in June 6 of 1755 and dying pretty much 20 years later. Wow. He was a patriot soldier and spy for the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary. He volunteered for an intelligence gathering mission in New York City, but was captured by the British and executed. But he was considered a hero, though, and back in 1985, he was officially designated the State Hero of Connecticut, because he was also born in Connecticut. Let's see. Basically, what made Hale unique, not just with his name for the game and everything, the only thing he said when he was ready to be executed for his spying on the British Army, he only said, "I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." Well, that's what it is said. It's either that I only have one life to give, or to give or to use for my country, but whatever the case is, that's what Nathan Hale here did. He had one life to give for his country to stop the Chimera, and he paid the price. So with that, I'm going to end here. That will do for this episode of Resistance 2. I hope you all enjoyed it, despite my struggles and everything else with it. Join me next time as we, well, I say that, more like, you'll see me. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next one.